Welcome, everybody. We're so grateful to have you here tonight for our business meeting, and thank you so much for joining us. We are convened tonight as the Provo City School District Board of Education. It is Tuesday, August 8th, and it's 7:06 p.m. We're meeting today at 280 West, 940 North in Provo, Utah, and we're going to begin this business meeting tonight with a roll call, and we'll start down here with Derek.
Derek Anderson, Business Administrator.
Lisa Boyce, Board Member.
Terry McCabe, Board Member.
Jennifer Partridge, Board Vice President.
Rebecca Nielsen, Board President.
Wendy Dow, Superintendent.
Meg Van Wagenen, Board Member.
Gina Hales, Board Member.
Melanie Hall, Board Member.
Okay, thank you. And we will go ahead and entertain a motion to convene our business meeting.
I move that we convene our business meeting.
Thank you. Motion made by Board Member Boyce. Is there a second?
I second that.
Second by Board Member Partridge. We are now in our business meeting. We'll begin tonight with some opening remarks by Board Member Terry McCabe.
I want to welcome the Timpview High School Brass Quintet to play the national anthem.
And we'll now have our Deputy Superintendent Jason Cox lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you for standing. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much to our Timpview students and for Jason for leading us. Thank you. We will go ahead and move to our Community Connections section of our meeting tonight. We don't have any Provo Way Awards to give out since we're kind of still early in the beginning of our school year. So we will just have public input tonight. So really quickly, I apologize for not being able to notify you in advance. But if there's anyone who would like to give public input, we have some forms over here at this table. They would just need to be filled out in advance and given to our Secretary, Bonnie Totkus here. And then everyone who's interested in giving public comment will have 3 minutes to do so when we call your name. Did you receive any forms, Bonnie? And I don't see anyone filling out any forms, so I think we're going to go ahead and say that it's safe to say that we'll close that portion of our meeting now and move on to our business items. Let's see. Okay, here we go. We'll start with consideration to approve use of the Title III elevation software. And if Michelle is here, if you wouldn't mind just giving us a quick summary of that.
All right, thank you, Board. Tonight you have on your agenda consideration to approve a large purchase request, which is for elevation software. This is software through House Bill 154, which is an EL software or curriculum bill that is legislated to all districts according to their EL population. A portion of our funds for this we'd like to use for elevation, which is a database program for ELs, as well as a teacher tool for lesson planning and strategies for their EL students.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve?
I move that we approve the Title III request for the use of elevation software.
Thank you so much. Motion made by Board Member Hales. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Board Member Hall. Any further questions or commentary may be started by Board Member Hales if there's any.
I don't have any.
Nope. Okay. Then all in favor with aye?
Aye.
Any opposed with nay? Okay. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Michelle. On to item number 2. We are going to now approve a large purchase request of that Title III software. So just for some clarification, we just approved the actual curriculum, and now we'll be approving the purchase for that. And Derek, if you have anything else to add to that.
No, there's nothing else to add. Sorry about that. No, there's nothing else to add other than the amount for this software is $72,675.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve the Title III large purchase request for the elevation software with state funds in the amount of $72,675.
Thank you. Motion made by Board Member Partridge. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Board Member Boyce. Any further questions or comments may be started by Board Member Partridge, if there's any.
I just loved hearing about how it's able to help our teachers differentiate their instruction for English language learners, and glad we've got a great tool to be able to use for them.
Okay, all in favor with aye?
Aye.
Any opposed with nay? Motion passes unanimously. Item number 3, consideration to approve a large purchase request, and this is for our roofing projects at both Centennial and Franklin. Derek.
So what you have before you, Board, is 2 of our roofing projects that we have on the capital facilities plan. These are the 2 schools that have the most critical needs to have their roofs replaced. The amount between the 2 schools is $889,184, and that includes the credit of the $20,000 by essentially we were granted by the vendor since they were the low bid on both projects. So and that's kind of what they wrote in their bid, is that if we were the low bid on both projects, you'd get an extra credit of the $20,000. So that amount is $889,184, and the reason it's coming back before the Board is that the bid amounts that came in excess of the amount that was originally allocated in the budget.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
I move that we approve the large purchase for roofing projects in the amount of $889,184.
Thank you so much. Motion made by Board Member Hall. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Board Member Hales. Any further questions or comments started by Board Member Hall, if there's any? None? Okay, we'll go ahead and vote then. All in favor with aye?
Aye.
Any opposed with nay? Okay, motion passes unanimously. Item number 4, consideration to approve another large purchase request. This is for new buses. Derek.
Yep. So what you have before you, Board, is the rotation schedule of our for our buses, and these are replacing 3 older buses that we would essentially be aging out of the fleet, and so those 3 buses that we're asking the Board to approve, and that total amount is $423,993.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
I move that we approve the large purchase request of $423,993 for the purchase of buses.
Thank you. Motion made by Board Member Boyce. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Board Member Partridge. Any further questions or comments started by Board Member Boyce, if there's any?
No.
None. Okay, then we'll go ahead and vote on this. All in favor with aye?
Aye.
Any opposed with nay? Motion passes unanimously.
All right, so the next item that that is on the agenda for the board approval is a water line replacement. Right now, Temp View is going through significant renovation, and this is something that I had to approve in July as an emergency purchase request. Due to the fact that we did not have board meetings in the month of July, and this came forward as essentially an emergency that was, if we don't have this approved right now, the school will be without water for 3 weeks in the middle of July, in the middle of August, which is, can pose a problem with school starting next week. And so this was essentially an approval to essentially reroute and get the school water so that as this plumbing and everything and the project is continuing, the school could continue moving forward. And the amount that was approved was $94,722. And so I'm asking that the board ratify that purchase.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve the large purchase request in the amount of $94,722 for water line replacement.
Thank you. Motion made by Board Member Van Wagenen. Is there a second?
I second that.
Second by Board Member Partridge. Any further questions or comments, starting with Board Member Van Wagenen, if there's any?
Just thank you, Derek, for taking care of these emergency things that have come up with this project.
Okay, we'll go ahead and take a vote on this. All in favor with aye?
Aye.
Any opposed with nay? Okay, motion passes unanimously.
Oh, sorry.
I was just going to introduce it, but you could just go for it. Go ahead.
So the next item up for adoption is before the board is policy 1700. What this did is I was approached earlier this year by our HR department, letting us know that if a board member selects the benefits and they select all of them, that they would end up having to pay monthly every month to be on the board. And so what this does is it tweaks policy a little bit to say, hey, look, the board compensation should be that flat amount that's in there, and then whoever joins the board, that benefit amount is covered by the district. So that way, if whoever joins the board, if they're single, they're married, or they have a family, that amount, because the amount is fixed, it doesn't impact what it is that they're selecting and now having to pay to be on the board. And so what this does is essentially says, hey, the district will cover that, and so that way you're not having to pay us every month as part of this. And then the other piece that adds is there's a little bit of an extra separation for board leadership, because they have more meetings that they're going to at the state level or even here internally, and so that will help reimburse them for their time and costs that they incur to attend these meetings. So.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
I move that we approve the changes to policy 1700 as discussed in study session.
Thank you. Motion made by Board Member Hales. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, second by Board Member Van Wagenen. Any further questions or comments, starting with Board Member Hales, if there's any?
I don't have anything.
I just want to say thank you to Derek and Wendy for recognizing that although we really love this work, it's going to be awesome to not have to pay to do this work. So thank you. Okay, we'll go ahead and take a vote then. All in favor with aye?
Aye.
Any opposed with nay? Okay, motion passes unanimously. Item number 7, our consideration to approve the Franklin CSI plan. And let's see if Jared is here. Jared, you'd like to speak to that?
As discussed in the study session, you have before you a comprehensive support and improvement plan for Franklin Elementary, which receives Title I services. As you can see, there's a great contingency of Franklin employees here to express their support and their involvement in the development of this plan. Principal Benson is here, prepared to share and answer any questions that you have, and perhaps share some prepared thoughts that he has. You've got that plan before you, and it requires our board to approve before we then send it on to the State Board of Education.
Thank you so much. Jason, did you have anything you wanted to add right now? Or would you rather wait for our questions? Okay, why don't we go ahead and we'll make the motion and then we'll have you come up for our questions and comments. Okay. Is there a motion to approve?
I move that we approve the Franklin Elementary School CSI plan. Do we need to say what CSI is?
It's fine. I think it's fine.
Okay.
As discussed in
As discussed in study session.
Okay, thank you so much. Motion made by Board Member McCabe. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Board Member Hales. Any further comments or questions, starting with Board Member McCabe, if there's any?
I enjoy the presentation, very informative, and it's great to see Board Member Cave's making me cry. I live in a very similar area. So thank you for sticking around to help our kids. That goes for the teachers, and it goes for your principal, and it goes for everybody else who works at your school. Thank you for sticking around to help these kids.
Jason, do you want to say something? Did you have something you were going to say? Yeah, come on up.
I just want to say thanks. It's an honor for me to represent the Franklin community and our Franklin family. We're committed, we're dedicated, and we hope you know that we feel your sincerity, and we understand that it's going to be a lot of work, but I hope you look behind you, and they're here, and they're proud, they're wearing their shirts, but more importantly, they wear that on their hearts, and they're dedicated, so we appreciate that, and we want you to know we're going to get the work done. So thank you. Any questions for me or for my family?
I want to give you a standing ovation.
I just have one more quick comment I'll add before we still have to officially vote, right?
Yes.
Okay, yes, I'm just making sure we're getting this procedure right. But I was proudly wearing my Franklin t-shirt when I was actually just across the street just a couple weeks ago at a physical therapy appointment for my broken foot. And the physical therapist asked me, said, Franklin, tell me about Franklin. And I told him all about Franklin with like so much pride. I worked with closely with Franklin a little bit during the sites, my sites experience last year, and kind of really got to know them a little bit through that better. And I have all the respect and admiration for teachers in general and for administrators in general, but especially for, just like Gina's saying, for you guys for sticking around and for loving our kids. And I want to add my thanks to that. So thank you. Please take it back to anyone at your school who's not here tonight, who couldn't be here. We're just really appreciative of every effort that's being made there. So thank you so much. Yeah. Okay, let's take a vote. All in favor with aye?
Aye.
Any opposed with nay? Okay, motion passes unanimously. Okay, our last item tonight, our consideration to approve the early learning plan, and we'll hear from Anne Marie Harrison on that.
Thank you. Just to summarize what we talked about earlier, this is a state grant that comes through. All districts are required to create a plan and submit it. This plan has received prior approval from the state office. A team went through this summer the training, reviewing the data from our prior years, and made some stretching goals for the coming year to help our students in kindergarten through third grade improve in reading and math. If you choose to support this, I would ask that you add in your nomination with the changes for the program amount and amount matching as discussed in study session. Derek has updated that in your board doc, so you're seeing the corrected version there.
Can't see. Sorry, it's me.
Okay, thank you so much, Anne Marie.
Thank
Is
you.
there a motion to approve?
I move that we approve the early learning plan and that the district commit the income program amount of $418,335.
Do you want to say as discussed in study session?
As discussed in our study session.
Just checking. Okay, thank you so much. Motion made by Board Member Boyce. Is there a second?
Second.
I'm choosing Melanie. Second by Board Member Hall. Is there any further questions or comments, starting with Board Member Boyce, if there's any?
Just thank you. This is something I know this whole board is dedicated to and our teachers are dedicated to. So thank you for helping us put the plan together, and I hope we'll hear how we can keep supporting optimal early learning outcomes in our district.
I'm really excited for our superintendent and assistant superintendent sites to work hand in hand and really making this meaningful for principals and teachers. So thank you.
Okay.
Can I make a comment?
Oh, one more comment. Yes, please.
Yeah. This, for the public who might be watching, I just want them to know that we had quite a good discussion about both this item and the Franklin CSI plan in our previous meeting, in our study session. And so if you felt like we didn't talk about it very much in this meeting, it's because we did in the previous meeting, so you can go back and watch that and hear all the details. But I appreciate all the effort gone into both this plan and the CSI plan as well.
Okay, thank you. All in favor with aye?
Aye.
Any opposed with nay? Motion passes unanimously. All right. We'll now take some time to approve our consent calendar. And is there a motion here?
I move that we approve the items on the consent calendar.
Thank you so much. Motion made by Board Member Hales. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Board Member Boyce. That's going to forever be a tongue twister for me. Is there any further comments or questions, starting with Board Member Hales, if there are any?
I don't have any.
Nobody else? Okay, we'll go ahead and vote then. All in favor with aye?
Aye.
Any opposed with nay? Okay, motion passes unanimously. All right, we'll give the time now to Board Member Gina Hales, and she will be giving us our board report tonight.
All right. I don't remember ever being in a board meeting that might be done this early. So I'm going to take a long time right now. No, I'm kidding. We are going to do this also really lickety-split fast. Okay, so, oh, I got the clicker. Let's see if I know how to use it. It's questionable. All right, so I do know how to use it. So this is a quick aside, but it does have to do with my board report. We currently have a very, very engaged school board. I don't know all of the school boards in the world, but I would venture to say they're not all this engaged. We're very engaged, and I think that's a good thing. We've got a lot going on, and I'm tired. So here are my official assignments. I'm on the policy committee, legislative committees. I'm over the student representatives to the school board, and I just want to take a quick, well, I'll come back to them. I am the USBA delegate for the district. We have a couple, and I'm the one for the district. And then I'm on the Allied Agency Committee, which is working with different agencies in the community agencies. And so for my USBA delegate, I have not done anything for this yet, but August 26th is when the delegation meets, as well as August 25th. And then the Allied Agency Committee meets quarterly. It's doing great work. It's one of my favorites because it runs so smoothly, and those are my peeps. I'm a social worker, and there's a lot of social workers there. I love that meeting. These are the ones that are sucking all of my time right now, in a good way, in a nice, positive, sucking my time way. So, policy committee, kind of like what we discussed earlier. We've been working on that. We passed it in June, I believe, but then we talked about procedures for that. So that's number 2. We've talked a lot about procedures and purchasing and attendance and all of those things. We're trying to clean all of that up as well. We're talking about a classroom environment policy, maybe not a policy, but how are we going to ensure that our policies, that our classrooms are good and safe and welcoming places for all students. And so we continue to work on that, and then we have a language access policy that we're looking at that we'll start working on that's upcoming. Legislative committee, we recently had the legislation. I was out of town, but we had legislators come in and we did a tour. They had a lunch to discuss our upcoming legislative session. We've realized and learned sometimes the hard way that you start now for the January, February session. If you start even if you start in October, it's too late. So we're talking to them about that, what we'd like to see happen, how they can support us and we can support them. We are working with at least one legislator on some specific legislation, and then I spoke with a legislator at a meeting I was at yesterday, and she has some things going that I'd love to see if we can support. I've watched several interim committee meetings up on the Hill, trying to figure out how this will affect our district. And we're working really hard to communicate regularly with our legislators so that they know who we are, they know what we need, and that we have a good relationship with them. All right, so student school board representatives, this is the first year of the program, and we have our two, we've already introduced them, but I'm going to do it again. We have William Widener, right? Is that right? I should know how to pronounce your last name. So go ahead and stand up. We got Will from Timpview, who's representing Timpview. Right. Have Maxwell Joyner, who is at PHS, but again, Provo High, but they represent all the students throughout the district. So our guys, they are our guinea pigs, poor things. We don't know, I shouldn't admit this, I don't know what I'm doing. They know what they're doing maybe, and so does Mr. Jensen, who's taking the brunt of this for me. But this is the first year of the program. I feel very strongly that the student voice needs to be magnified, and so I am, we have some big plans, and we'll see what happens. But we have some big plans, and I'm looking forward to working with them as well as the district and the different schools. They will each serve on one committee, one actual committee. So one will be on the legislative, one will be on the communication committee. They will hold their own monthly student board meetings in concert with Mr. Jensen and myself. But they will run those meetings, they will set up the agendas, they will invite students to come, they will figure out what it is they want to talk about, and then they will present something. They'll have 3 to 5 minutes at every board meeting, not at every, I don't know if it's every monthly board meeting or every board meeting. Anyway, they will have 3 to 5 minutes to talk to us about their what's going on with students and what they want us to know. We will also be visiting schools. Franklin is one of the ones I would like them to visit because I know for sure you guys have student government. Is that correct? And so we've got that on our radar. And then we want them to visit other schools as well. Right now, I can really only say we're going to visit a couple of schools because otherwise my brain might explode. But we will go visit as many as we can. And really, we want them to advocate for students. I love to advocate for students, but I'm not a student. It's been a long time since I've been a student. So we want to hear from the students themselves. So I'm excited about this program. This innovation working group it was a special invitation, so it wasn't given by the district. The rest of them were assignments given by our district. This was something I got from legislator and other board members. But basically, local school board members meet with legislators, and we try to pound out the issues before the legislative session comes. So the legislators come and say, well, we passed this, and then you guys did that. And we're like, well, you said this, so we did this. And then you got mad at us, but really, this is what we thought. And so really what we're trying to do is hammer all of that out instead of doing it in front of committees, right? Instead of having it be broadcast, we want to have conversations with them and talk to them about how this actually affects us on the ground. And so we've been having some really good discussions. We don't always see eye to eye, but we've been having some good discussions. Some things we're looking at is the implementation of legislation, because what happens is they give us this legislation, and then we have to implement it, but it's not like it gets implemented in a day. And so we start to implement it, and then they make changes to it, or they want to add to it, or they want to do something to it, but we haven't even fully implemented it yet. So we're working on that timing and perhaps not doing education bills every year, maybe off years. Don't say that too loud because that's not really, just something we've discussed as an idea. Reasonable accountability, like we want to be accountable. We're using taxpayer money, but the accountability needs to be reasonable, and there needs to be a good structure, accountability structure, so we've talked about that. One thing I really like about this group is it's solution focused and it's action oriented. I feel like we're actually getting some things done. And so I think, it's still slow, but it's working a little faster than if we kind of try to do some things some other ways. So in addition to this, we have school board meetings. We have our school assignments. So we're attending PTA, SEC, we're doing school events, we're checking in with the schools. We've got emails, phone calls, we're reading reports, we're writing reports. I try to stay active on social media because I found that people don't read emails, but they look at their social media. So I try to put everything on social media to make sure everyone knows what's going on. We have conferences and workshops. We have trainings. So a lot of the trainings are online. So I'm trying to do the safe school training we have to do every year. So I have it on my computer. I have an 18-month-old and a 9-year-old. The 9-year-old wants to know what we're having for dinner, and the 18-month-old wants to throw my computer. And so we are, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I'm always looking at a training. I just finished a 15-hour training, and so I'm like, oh, there's always trainings. Then we're doing district level meetings that we don't have to be there, but I like to come and support and let the cabinet and the district know we support them. studying, so that we have to prepare for these meetings, right? I can't show, I did for the beginning, don't tell anyone. I would show up not prepared because I didn't know what I was doing. But we really, if we're going to be effective, we need to read all of the attachments. We need to know what's happening. I don't like to be surprised in the meetings. So you have to prepare for the meetings. You have to study the issues. We've got community events. I like to go to community events and represent the school district and the school board and talk to people about what we're doing. We have neighborhood district meetings. So we go to those and try to make sure everybody's aware of what's happening in our district. We've got travel time. Yesterday I was in a meeting here, and then I had a meeting in Riverton, and so many things going on. And then I like to, which this has not happened in a long time because I just don't have time, is I like to review current education research. What is the research saying? What are the things that we should be doing that are backed up by data? And so I don't want you to think I'm complaining. I'm not complaining. I just want the public to know that you are getting a bargain. Some of us are antiques and used furniture type, me more than others. But my typical week, it is not unusual for me to spend 10 to 20 hours. In fact, if we count up, this meeting's getting out early, so I have to recalculate. But basically, I have spent, today's Tuesday, right? I have already spent about 14 and a half hours doing school board stuff. And that does not count any of the emails that I sent or received or that Derek sent me at midnight because I sent him an email at 9:30 p.m. last night. Wendy's emailed me at 11:30 as well. I mean, that's not counting all that stuff, right? So my typical week, if you count all of that, is at least 10 to 20 hours. Board leadership and others on the board, I'm sure, do more than I do. So I wanted you to see what a bargain you're getting. We get $480 a month for board compensation. Really, it's for gas, but even gas is so expensive, maybe it's not even covering that. And then if we ask for medical benefits previous to now, then we're paying, right, to be on the board. So basically, you're getting us for $6 to $12 per hour. Nothing wrong with making $6 to $12 per hour, right? But a lot of us up here have training. I have a PhD in education. I could make a lot more money, but I want everybody to know that I choose to be here because I love public education. This is a great thing for our community. It's a great thing for the world, right? And we are here, and we are working hard, and we are far from perfect. We make mistakes, we make the wrong decisions sometimes, but we are here and we are working hard, and I want you to know that the taxpayers, you are getting more than your money's worth from us. But I want you to know how dedicated everybody up here is, everybody on the side here is. We are dedicated to helping our students and our families succeed, whatever success looks like for them. And so, yay! And that is the end. You can go home when Rebecca tells you to.
Almost. Thank you so much, Gina, for all the work you do. We recognize you work hard on this board, and everyone up here for sure works hard. So thank you, though, Gina. All right. Superintendent report. Wendy.
Gina, I made me kind of tired listening to all of that. So I'm glad we get to go home soon. For the board report, we have 2 trips that were approved. They're in-state travel. They're both for Provo High School. It's their tennis team. One is going to Logan, and then the other trip is to St. George. There's only 1 school day missed total between those 2 trips, so those have been approved. Just wanted that on your radar. And then there is an attachment in board docs. UHSAA has a program called Raise the Bar for high schools to earn stars based on sportsmanship requirements. Really about not denigrating their opponents, but about cheering for their teams. And we've been notified that Provo High School received a silver star for completing all of their requirements, and Timpview High School received a gold star. Any questions about that? Okay. And then I also wanted to point out that Leslie Stilson, who is a teacher at Spring Creek Elementary, is being featured in Utah Valley Magazine. They're doing a great back to school issue highlighting some of the teachers around Utah County, and so she was selected. Thank you to our communications department and Jared for helping with that, and got her submitted, and so they're doing a write-up, and I'll keep you updated on that. And we are looking forward to all of the teachers at our district day on Thursday. So if you want to come hang out with us at Provo High School, we start at 7:30. We're going to have a kickoff meeting and breakfast for the teachers. We'll do elementary and secondary. We have to do them in waves because we have too many of them for Provo High's auditorium. So you're welcome to join us. And I'm stoked. This is like my favorite time of year. I know it's hard to tell because I've been in a meeting for 8 hours, so I'm a little sleepy, but we're very excited. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Wendy. And also, Derek, do you have anything to report on today?
Probably just one quick update, and that's just for the, it was already discussed in the study session, but we should probably just make it known, and I should probably include it right now, is that TempView this year will not be starting in the new academic wing. They will still be starting school at the same time and at location as it's always been. It's just it will be back in the original older wing right now due to some delays on the project. We've got an elevator that I've got an email that was essentially sent to me last week that it still has not been shipped from the manufacturer. And so that, because of that, we don't have ADA clearance, and so we won't be able to essentially have that turned over to us until it becomes kind of ADA compliant and they've met essentially the rest of the building. So there is some delays on that. Doesn't change the fact that the school is still starting on the day that has been announced. They will be in the classrooms that they've been in the past. It's just that unfortunately we're not going to be able to move into the new area like we'd hoped for the start of school year.
Okay, thank you so much, Derek. And with that, we are ready to adjourn our meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn our business meeting.
Thank you so much, Board Member Boyce. We are adjourned.